Just like a little kid at Christmas time. Welcome back to Procrastination Garage. My name's Matt. This week we went on a 4-day camping adventure with some friends, and I got a new Jackery 2000 XL solar generator to play with. So please sit back and watch the video, and when it's over, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and please tell all your friends. See you at the end. Looky what I got. Okay, this is not the unboxing channel. It's never going to be the unboxing channel. And I'm probably not going to be doing ads for Jackery. Although, hey, if they want to sponsor me, maybe we will. But anyway, with my own money, I went ahead and ordered this. It's a Jackery 2000 Pro and one Solar Saga 200 watt solar panel. Now, Jackery claims with 6 of these solar panels, you can recharge the Jackery 2000 in 2 hours. So we're looking at roughly 12 hours to recharge it. But my goal is not really to be able to recharge it off of a solar panel. Anyway, this was a smoking deal they just had. They were calling it a Prime deal, kind of tying in with Amazon, I think. So for this package, it was about $1,600, which I've been following along. Usually the Jackery solar generator itself is $2,000, $2,100. And solar generator, I hate that name. It is not a generator. It doesn't generate a damn thing. It requires something to input the power, which in this case the generator is actually that solar panel, and the Jackery 2000 is basically just a big fancy battery with an inverter. It's a nice piece, but quit calling them batteries. But for this we probably will, just so people understand what I'm talking about. So let's open it up. Open one box just to find another box. Well, they get an A+ for packaging. And the solar panel, it's got a nice little case it comes in. Man, I'm like a kid at Christmas. This thing is so cool. Alright, so it's showing it came delivered with 18% power already in it. So that's kind of cool. It's got a light here. And it is a bright light and a flashing mode. I'm not sure what you would use that for. I mean, I guess you pull into camp and you don't have a flashlight handy. Just kind of a doohickey little gimmicky thing, but that's alright. Got a cigarette lighter plug here. And we've got 3 20 amp receptacles. Now 20 amp, that's a good thing. That means that thing each one can handle quite a bit of power. And then I've got some USB A's and C's over there. So that's all good. So why did I pick the Jackery 2000? It was a combination of things, but I was trying to keep the weight reasonable since it has a handle and I can move it around and has a decent output. I was looking for at least 2,000 watts. The thing has got a $4,000 watt reserve capacity. So you plug something in that's over 2,000 watts initially, it won't shut down. So what it's missing, it'd be nice if it had a 30 amp RV plug on the front of them like some of them do. But you usually have to buy bigger ones, and the bigger ones are heavier, and a lot of the bigger ones don't have handles. And I wanted this one to be more portable. So this basically will do everything that my 2,000 watt Honda generator will do. So that's a plus. So let's see about getting it plugged in and charged up. So when I took the solar panel out, see that little screw right there? That belongs somewhere. I mean, it may have been an extra, but that's not where it should be. So we'll have to look around and see it. It looks like it's one of the screws that would hold that on, so we'll make sure we aren't missing one. Maybe it just left over and accidentally. This is magnetic, and so that's the reason it's sticking to it. I found where it goes right there. And then I see down here at the bottom, this piece is coming loose. It's supposed to screw through to this other side, so that's not real good. Lack of quality control there, I'd guess. Upon further investigation, I found this one up here is stripped, and these 3 here are all broken loose. They basically, somebody tightened them down too tight and they just broke them off. So yes, I could get in touch with Jackery. They would probably send a new one or fix it or something. Do I want to be bothered with that? The one down here on the bottom I can drill just straight through and put a little bolt through, or I could probably use some glue of some kind. I don't know, we'll have to figure it out. I did some further disassembly. I wanted to see, is there anything that's going to stop me from just put some screws in this myself. I was mainly concerned about the electrical. It runs right down the center. I don't know if you can see it. Not really. It runs right down the center there, so there'll be no problem throwing some screws in here. If I could get Jackery just to send me the 2 halves of the plastic piece, that would be terrific. But what they'll want is they'll want the whole thing sent back, and it seemed like a lot of rigmarole. I mean, we're going to assume that it even works, so let's plug it in and find out. I've got the solar panel sitting out there in direct sun. It's not angled, but it's certainly sun's beating down on it. And as soon as I plugged it in, I came back and it had just put the screen on. Of course, it goes out after a while. So anyway, it's showing an input of about 170 watts. So, and it's telling me about 10 hours to fully charge it. All right, sounds reasonable. We're gonna let it run. We'll keep an eye on it, and when the sun moves, if it starts to shade, then we'll either move it somewhere else or we'll shut her down and plug it in or something. I don't really want to just leave it out in the open, because if somebody drives by and sees it, they may think it's their Jackery and not mine, since I'm near the front yard. So I'm keeping the Jackery hidden. So anyway, let's see what happens. I'm not sure how long it's been out here. I think a couple hours. It's gone from 18% up to 28%. That's pretty impressive. Showing input of about 140 watts now, down from the 170, and now it's saying 12 hours to charge. I don't think the indicator of how long it's going to take to charge is all that accurate. What's more important is the watt input and what it's actually doing, showing 28%. But it doesn't matter. It's all good. I wasn't paying attention and the shadows moved over the solar panel. So right there it's just about halfway shaded, corner to corner. So is it still performing? Putting out a whopping 22 watts. It's going to take 72 hours to charge. I'm going to move this around to the backyard since I have shade back there now. We're in full sun. Got a lot of little bugs on it, but the sun angle's pretty low, so we're going to try tilting it. So right now we've got 83 watts coming in. Let's see what happens if we tilt it. Up to 152 watts. That made a big difference. Bear agrees, don't you, Bear? Yeah, we're not angled directly at it. We should, this end here needs to come that way a little bit. Good enough. Okay, so it sat outside hooked to the solar panels into the evening. It's now about 9:30 at night. I just now brought it in. I mean, it probably hadn't been charging for over an hour and a half or so. Anyway, I've got it plugged into a wall outlet and it says 1.2 hours. So it basically went from 18% up to 49% in a mix of sun and clouds and me not really tracking the sun. So that's not too bad, but if you're going to depend on one solar panel to charge the thing up, don't run it down all the way, and you better plan on getting it out there early in the morning and hoping it's a sunny day. But so far I'm happy. We'll see. So what do you think that means? Yep, you're right. It's late Thursday morning. Got the mower unloaded, got the UTV loaded. Now I need to swap tow vehicles. Gonna hook up the motorhome and get ready to head out for the weekend. I think we're in pretty good shape. Got the trailer hooked up to the motorhome. Went pretty easy. I should have been videoing that because it was one of the few times where I was able to pretty much back right up to it and drop it right down on there. Anyway, I think I've got everything I need. So I just need to do some final things, prep of the house, and hit the road. Oh yeah, dog's coming with me. It's about 12:40 and we're on our way to meet our friends in Natchez, Washington. Me and the dog. Say hi, dog. Anyway, we're right on schedule. We've been hustling all morning. I had to go mow the rental and do some last minute house cleaning because we've got a cat sitter person coming. So there's always work to be done, but we're gonna have a fun 4 days. We're going up on a Thursday, hoping to make sure nobody's in the campsite that we want, and weather's supposed to be really nice. Hot, probably, well, here in town approaching 95. So I can report the air conditioning in this motorhome is blowing ice cold. Man, it's a huge difference between the last time I drove it. Now the green truck, not so much. It's blowing colder and the compressor's not kicking off and on. When I took it over the rental, I didn't really even notice one way or another. I'm gonna have to just drive a little bit and see, but it's not as cold as this one.
Where does the road go? I mean,
We don't.
white? Yeah. I have trouble seeing where the road is. Depending on if it's kind of road. I just slow down.
It's like there's still a little snow up there. Where you going, Singer?
Don't jump.
Take a peek. Take a pee. Pee off the edge.
Okay.
Well,
It looks like there might have been or it's a trail.
There's been monkeys or elephants up here
What?
with peanut holes.
Right
oh
there.
yeah, there is some
Looks
kind
like
of
a trail or road.
Well, Matt
or
said you could go off the end of this and.
Welcome to McDaniel Lake, or what's left of it. Big tree.
I use the other one for plowing and switching back.
Trip for ice cream. Low range territory here. How you doing, little Skeeter? You ready to go for another ride? You ready to go for another ride?
Oh.
I think you're right. I think it is a hawk.
Beautiful country. What do you think, Skeeter? You think it's beautiful country? Yeah? It's Sunday afternoon, about 3:30. The group is packed up and headed home. Man, what a great weekend. We got up here on Thursday. We took a UTV ride Thursday night, or Thursday afternoon. And Friday, one more of our group showed up. So we had one fifth wheel, one travel trailer, two motorhomes, and then one guy was camping in a snowmobile trailer. And just had a great time. We rode Saturday, and then we rode again Saturday night, last night in the dark, and we were exploring a four-wheel drive trail that we couldn't see, so we went back today and checked it out, and it came out at a beautiful water area, which I've got on video. I think I already showed it. So man, this was just a fantastic weekend. The only thing that would have made it better was if my daughter had been able to come along, but unfortunately we timed it wrong and she's in California. But I'm going to come back up here again, and maybe just my daughter and I. So man, oh man, what a good time. You may be asking, what was the main purpose of the Jackery on my camping trip? Well, the goal really was to power the inverter inside the motorhome, which would power the lights and maybe provide the electricity for the refrigerator. That inverter took a lot of juice. I thought I'd be able to get through a couple of days with the Jackery, and in fact, you know, I couldn't even really go a 24-hour period leaving it plugged in. I went ahead and switched the refrigerator back to gas, so I didn't have that feeding off of it. I do know that one of the batteries, the coach battery in the motorhome, is at the end of its lifespan, and the inverter probably was continually trying to keep it charged, which really wasn't helping my cause any. I'm going to have to do some more fooling around with it, and I may need to try and figure a way to bypass the inverter, because if I'm using the Jackery, I don't really need the inverter. If I can figure a way to power the 12-volt lights, provide just enough electricity for the refrigerator to keep it going, working with gas. I don't know. It's a work in progress, but it didn't do as well in the motorhome as I expected, but it wasn't a total failure either. And had I had my own generator to charge it back up, it wouldn't have been an issue, but because I was depending on other people, I didn't really like that feeling. Now, something I haven't tested, and I need to, is will the Jackery take a charge from the generator in the motorhome? You know what? Let's check that right now. Nothing comes easy. The coach battery is so bad that it wouldn't even, well, it started the generator, but then I seemed to have a bad electrical connection, so I shut the generator off, and then it wouldn't restart it. I had to get my jump pack out. It is running now, and it is putting power to the motorhome. So let's go ahead and plug the Jackery in out here and see what happens. I'm not sure if you can see it with the glare. I can barely see it. Better. It's showing, I don't know, about 800 watt input, but it's at 78%. Well, we're up over 1,000 now. So it is charging it. It's taking power, 1,100. Slowly coming up. Maybe it'll slowly reach 1,500 or thereabouts. So it does appear to be charging. I'm going to go ahead and leave it plugged in for a little bit so See if I can get it up to about 85%, 90%, and if it does, then I'll call this test a win. The Jackery's back at 100%, and the motorhome generator just charged it up lickety-split. So that's good to know. That generator just kind of on the loud side and smelly, and I prefer not to run it if I don't have to. But it does go to show that if I needed it this weekend, I could have done it. I took this 1,000-watt generator with me, thinking that when the Jackery needed recharging, I would plug it into this. This way I would run this for about 2 hours, and the Jackery could run most of the rest of the time. Well, when I hooked the Jackery up to this, it wouldn't charge it. This is an old Honda generator, not an inverter generator, so I thought, oh, it's because it's not clean enough power for it, because the Jackery was just making these little clicking noises. Okay, well, I had two friends up there that had Predator 3500 generators. Really nice, quiet machines, inverter technology. So I plugged into one of them and it charged it up no problem. Great. Well, the next day, I again needed a charge, and my one friend, his generator wasn't running, so I plugged into the other one that was running. And after a little bit, there was a complaint that the air conditioner had quit running in the camp trailer. And I'm like, ooh, did I do that? So we went over and unplugged me and restarted that generator, and it started working again. Okay, well, maybe that's a problem. So then my friend that was camped right next to me that I'd been using his generator, he fired his up. And so again, I plugged into that one and tried it. And after a while, it set off the circuit breaker on his, and we had to shut it off and restart it. And so the problem was the Jackery was drawing too much power. Well, I think I've already shown that the Jackery draws over 1,500 watts when it's charging. Well, a 1,000-watt generator doesn't put out that many watts, so there's the problem. Well, my Honda 2,000-watt generator is rated at 2,000 peak. It's actually only a 1,600-watt generator, and so I had been debating whether to get a 1,000-watt Predator or a 2,000-watt Predator as a generator just to charge the Jackery. Well, obviously I'm going to need at least a 2,000, and the question is, will the 1,600 be enough? This thing was drawing over 1,500. Now, the generator will peak at over 2,000, so in theory it'll start charging it, but I don't know if it can maintain it. So this is something we're going to have to test. So I can't really test the Jackery until I get up to the cabin with the 2,000-watt Honda generator and see what happens. And one other thought along those lines is that, interestingly, I saw it in the owner's manual of the Jackery that you can have two inputs while you're charging. You can charge off 120 volt, and you can also charge off the solar panel. Well, that may be what I have to do. When the Jackery is that dead, it may mean that I need a little extra boost from the solar panel to keep me under the 1,600 watts that the generator can handle. So that's going to be interesting, and I'm a little disappointed in the Jackery in that regard, and I wish there was a way to switch it to a slower charge mode that wouldn't require 1,500 plus watts to charge it. It'd be nice if you could cut that in half or something. Looking through the owner's manual, I don't see any such option like that. So overall, I like the Jackery. I think it's going to meet my needs, but I'm still not 100% sure until I get a chance to test it with the 2,000-watt generator. So we're doing another test on the Jackery, one of these little portable air conditioners. So I just turned it on. It's around 5 o'clock, a few minutes after 5. And how long is it going to run? Now see, right now it's saying 15 hours. A few minutes ago it was saying about 4 hours. So it must be when the compressor cycles on and off. So this might be interesting to see how long it actually will run on this. Maybe I need to put the temperature down lower to make sure the compressor's running more. I've set it down to 62 degrees and it's currently showing that it's 77 in this room. I'm not sure why the compressor hasn't kicked back on yet. Now it's showing 78. Yeah, we'll let it run for a while and see what it does. I'll admit I'm not the smartest on even how this air conditioner works, but it should be cooling. Alright, well, regardless of what that temperature is showing, when I put my hand down here, it's definitely cool air coming out. So again, let's go down and look. Okay, see, now it's showing 3 hours of output time. So it must be the compressor, when it cycles on and off, it's going to change. Because see, it's pulling 730 watts right now, when that compressor kicks off, it's going to be showing like 100 and something. So again, we're just going to let it run, and like I said, we start at 5 o'clock, and we'll check it every hour, and we'll run it down to about 15%, unless I get tired of waiting on it, then we'll shut it off sooner than that. It's now 1 hour later, 6 o'clock. Temperature in the room has dropped about 68 degrees. That's good. And what are we showing here? We're showing down to 65%, 64% power. It says 1.7 hours, but it's currently drawn 760 watts. So I guess that's to be expected. So we'll check it again at 7 o'clock and see what it says. Temperature readout in here, 65 degrees. Thing's pumping out cold air. We're now down to 23% at 7 o'clock, 742 watts, and it says half hour remaining. Okay, so we start this at 5, it's 7. We're not going to make it to 8 before we hit 15%. So what are we learning from this? We're being pretty hard on this Jackery because really, I mean, I guess it depends how hot it is as to whether you would run the air conditioner non-stop to where it would never cycle off. If you set it at, you know, probably 68 where it would cycle off, I don't know, maybe it'd last a little longer. You know, but then on the other hand, you know, I don't suppose you buy a Jackery to power an air conditioner for long periods of time. This was just a test I was trying to do because I thought maybe I could bring the motor home, or bring the air conditioner in the motor home occasionally, and mainly just to take the heat off, you know, just cool it down a little bit in the evening. And I still suspect it would do that. So I don't know, maybe it's just a goofy test, but I'm trying to find out what the thing is truly capable of doing and see if it's going to meet my needs. And this is something I'm like never going to do with it, so I would say it probably meets my needs so far. So ignore the fact the grass needs to be mowed and it's got a ton of weeds and stuff in it. That mark there, that's from the solar panel when I had it sitting out last Wednesday. Let's run another test. It's at 94%, and I've got that little fan right there plugged into it, turned on high, and it's just after 8:30 in the morning. So we're just going to let this thing run until it gets down to 15% or until I'm tired of doing it. Right now it says it'll run for 37.2 hours. Well, I'm not going to let it run 37 hours. So we'll see if that's accurate or not. Like I said, we'll just let it run for a while and see what happens. The fan's now been running for 3 hours and 15 minutes or so. And the Jackery's down to 86%, still saying it'll run for another 34 hours. We started 96%. That seems reasonable. Since it's Tuesday, and this is last week's video I'm working on, it's time to wrap this up. So if you have any questions about the Jackery or have any things you want me to try with it, by all means write in the comments, and I'm willing to give her a shot. But with that, let's wrap this video up, and then we'll move on to the next one. That's a wrap on this week's Procrastination Garage. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a great time camping with my friends. 4 days up in the mountains. Man, I don't get to do that often enough. I hope you guys will hit the like button. I hope you guys will subscribe. Down in the comments, tell me about the projects you're working on, or tell me about the projects you're procrastinating about. I hope you'll check back next week. Remember, this is Procrastination Garage, and my name is Matt, and we'll see you then.